So this was a big breakthrough, I would say, this week, Sachs. I don't know if you saw, but there were two papers that were published this week, each of which on their own, I would say, were pretty kind of important. I'll highlight the first one. And Nick, if you could just pull this first one up. This is the MIT paper. So this paper is called Teaching LLMs to Plan. And effectively, what this team did, and again, they were out of MIT in collaboration with a scientist at Microsoft AI in Mountain View, they basically created an instruction tuning framework that teaches LLMs to do symbolic planning, which basically means that the LLMs think about step-by-step or chain of thought in a smarter way by making them generate explicit state, action, state chains. And then they trained that model by giving them feedback with an external plan validator, which is effectively going to be a human or a software tool that says, did this series of steps make sense to do the thing you're trying to do? If not, here's what you did wrong. Here's what you should have done better. And they were able to achieve planning accuracy of up to 94% on some standardized benchmarks that are used for chain of thought reasoning and planning using LLMs. This is a 66% absolute improvement over baseline models. And so this is pretty substantial. They took Llama 3 and they were able to increase the performance from 1% to 64%. The outcome of this basically is that this sort of a system can be used to train LLMs to do better reasoning and better chain of thought in such a dramatic way that LLMs will look like they are starting to reason. And so by training them effectively on the steps in planning on how to reason, the LLMs get better at looking like they're doing reasoning using this kind of symbolic planning method that they then built a tuning framework around. That sounded a little bit complicated, but I think ultimately what it translates to is they figured out a method to get AI to act in a more reasoned way in developing step-by-step plans and execute against those plans. And the results and the benchmarks are incredible. So this was a big breakthrough, I would say, this week, Sachs.